Hey. Oh, that doesn't look like it's open. It's the 3D House of Horrors. Alright. Just in time parts. This is, So what I want to say about this is mainly, it hits a certain sweet spot for me in terms of the pace of the game. And that pleases me a great deal. If I'm going to play something with very little theme, and this really doesn't tie in too terribly with it. I mean, I'm moving around on a board that has eras, yeah, but for the most part it's just a set collecting game. It's just there's this kind of cute tie-in with the movement and the police moving and all this. That works fine, but it's a lot less than I usually want in terms of theme. If I'm going to play something that I consider mostly abstract, I usually want it to move very, very quickly, and I don't want to have to spend a lot of time thinking about what my best options are, etc. I also don't want it to have to be... so some games, it may be very easy to play quickly and know what you're doing after a few playings. But for the abstracts, I generally do not want to put that kind of effort in. Something like Go is an obvious difference there. That's actually maybe one of the differences for me between chess and Go. Even when I didn't get Go, I didn't sit thinking for too many of my moves. Whereas chess, I feel like I have to think so hard on every single move. Go is just these nice little patterns. No matter what level you're at, it feels that way. Now, sometimes you get to a point in the corner where you say, if you're not clever, like I'm not clever, and you sit there and you have to figure out, wait, what happens if I do this? And there are certainly points where you do want to take that time and think, because that's how you learn. But so much of the game is just this place, 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 place. It feels so beautiful that way. Well, this feels similar to that. You know what you want to do, and you just do the best you can with what you've got. It's like a card game. It's not something where you try to puzzle out, wait, can I buy this with this? What if I... The contracts that are out there are pretty clear. It's easy, for me at least, to assimilate that information, where it's very difficult for me in a lot of other games to figure out what my best purchase option is. Now, that said, I think a lot of people really like those kind of more nuanced decisions where they have to make all these thoughts. I like them in some games, but I don't like them so much in my abstracts. So this is very pleasing for me, and I would really enjoy playing this with people, I think. It doesn't even play badly solitaire, because again, the decisions are so fast. There's no hidden information in it. It's all out there in front of you. So, you know, I feel like I got a pretty good feeling of how it would feel if I were playing it. I don't have to pick up a hand of cards and then try to forget that hand as I pick up the next hand. I've got it all right in front of me. And I think it's kind of magical that it's able to be a completely open game, yet not be faced with that kind of analysis paralysis that I often get when I'm looking at all the information that I have in a game. Probably it's simplicity, but it does seem to be an interesting a game where there's a significant amount of little bits of general strategy that just sort of flow through your entire play in a way that I would guess that your better player would generally win this game. Someone who's just better at this kind of thinking will win most of the time, just because they'll be making those snap decisions a little better. The danger, of course, is if someone doesn't someone looks and says, I don't know what to do, like I do with so many games, then they probably be faced with the same kind of circumstance that I'm faced with when I play, say, something like Puerto Rico, where I've got a lot of different levers to move at, and I don't think that Puerto Rico is particularly bad at this situation. I think it played pretty well, actually. I'm trying to think of something that really disturbed me in terms of that. Certainly, what the hell was it? I don't know, a Tom Lehman game that was said to be similar to Outpost, but Outpost actually has that too, but it's so nicely tied to its theme that it doesn't bother me. I can't even remember the name of the game. I've played so many things it just passed me by, but I did a review of it and it was not a very pleasant game. And I never really liked Outpost that much, except for I liked how well it fit the theme, the choices of buying of pieces, etc. But the auction side of this other game, and damn it, I feel like an idiot for not knowing it, but because I took a lot of flack from the people who love the game. Anyway, again, this isn't something, and I don't know if many Euros that I really like are going to be. This isn't something that's going to wow people. There's not a lot of calculation in it that seems to draw some people like there is in something like Power Grid, or for that matter, in Puerto Rico. But there is sort of that light feel to it. I would compare it to a game of hearts. You know, if you're bringing more effort to it than you would bring to a card game, you're probably not going to enjoy this. If you're willing to play games that you don't have to bring all that much effort to, not to say some card games don't have a lot, but something like Hearts, you don't want to spend a lot of time counting cards and thinking and all that. The game is not worth it, right? Well, this is the same kind of situation. The game is not worth that much effort, I don't think. But as long as it's played without that much effort, it can be a pretty enjoyable activity. Anyway, I'm trying to debate between a 6 and a 7 on it. I think I'm going to go with a 6, just because even though I enjoy it, and I enjoy it a lot, and would probably be willing to play it fairly often, there's not all that much to respect of it. I mean, there are a lot of games out there, many card games, that I can get just as much pleasure out of, you know, just sitting around with a group of people socializing and playing a game. On the other hand, if you want to look for new experiences, it does have some interesting systems to it. It does have, I like that little tiebreaker aspect of the final scoring round where you can pick up the points for matching your whites and getting the most of a color, or you get extra points for having every color. Just a couple. It's enough that if otherwise the game was in doubt or close, it can push one player over another. I like the way that there's this reason to play differently in each of the 3 turns, and a reason because of the fact that the points you score in the first turn count 3 times, the points you score in the second only twice, and the points in the third only once. I like the final feel. A lot of games have a final feel where you can calculate everything out for the last turn or two and know exactly what you have to do to win. In this one, I don't feel like it's anywhere near that close. It feels more like stocks and bonds to me in terms of, and it's because of this random draw and you don't know what's going to be on the board for sure when it comes to your turn. You don't know whether or not that time police is going to hose you or hose someone else. So it's really hard from any point of view to tell exactly what you need to win until until the final chips are down, and that's very appealing to me. I don't like a game where I can figure out, History of the World is the perfect example. If I take A, B, and C, I will win, and my odds of doing that, and I can calculate it out because of the dice completely, are this. So this is the amount of forces I need to allocate to those things, and can I do this? Okay, now I can't win. Now do I want second place? Okay, how do I get that? Boy, that annoys the crap out of me. With this, I just don't feel like that's ever going to happen, and that I find very pleasing, to tell you the truth. Alright, I'm going to send this one up, and what the hell do we do next? I don't know what's coming next. I don't really want to hit SPQR quite yet. I certainly don't want to do 1830, even though it's highly thumbed. I want that to be the start of one of my weekends. I really don't know. I don't know what's coming up next. Probably nothing too big in terms of a war game or something. I would guess if it's a war game, it'll be a light thing. Maybe Soldier Kings, which I'm reading the rules to. Maybe Field Commander Alexander, I don't know. Also, Origins is drawing my attention, and a couple other little Euro type things that I've been looking at. So, we'll see. But for a Euro, this is definitely in my kind of happy zone.